Saving Private Ryan wasn't just a movie, it was a storm, loud, dirty, and full of real emotion. When director Steven Spielberg made it, he didn't want another Hollywood war story. He wanted something that felt real. Real pain, real fear, real people. To get there, he pushed everyone, the actors, the crew, even himself, to the limit. Nothing about this film was easy. Cameras shook like soldiers' hands. Actors froze in cold water. Veterans cried when they saw it because it felt too true. This movie didn't just show war, it made people feel it. And behind that power are strange, brave, and unbelievable stories you've probably never heard before. Let's dive in and discover 20 weird and amazing facts about Saving Private Ryan. Fact number 1. The first 27 minutes were real chaos. The famous D-Day scene at the start of the movie is one of the most realistic battle scenes ever filmed. Spielberg shot it on a beach in Ireland, not France. It took hundreds of actors, extras, and real soldiers to recreate the landing at Omaha Beach. The water was freezing cold. Explosions shook the ground. Cameras were covered in sand and blood. Some actors cried after filming because it felt too real. Spielberg used real smoke, real fire, and even real shrapnel sounds recorded from military archives. What you see on screen isn't polished or perfect. It's raw, loud, and confusing, just like war really is. It looked like a movie, but it felt like madness. Fact number 2. The actors went to a real war camp before filming began. Spielberg sent the main cast to a week-long boot camp run by real military trainers. Tom Hanks, Edward Burns, Barry Pepper, Vin Diesel, and the others slept in tents, ate cold food, and hiked for miles every day. They learned to clean guns, crawl through mud, and follow orders like real soldiers. The idea was to break their comfort and make them depend on each other, just like real soldiers in war. Matt Damon, who played Private Ryan, didn't go to camp on purpose. Spielberg wanted the others to resent him, to feel that Ryan didn't suffer like they did. That made their anger on screen feel natural. That wasn't acting. That was emotional truth. Fact number 3. Spielberg used real veterans as extras. In some scenes, the background soldiers weren't actors at all. They were real veterans from World War II. These men had lived through the real D-Day. They helped the crew understand what it was like, how soldiers walked, shouted, and carried their fear. One veteran broke down crying during filming. He said, "It feels like I'm back there." Spielberg stopped the cameras, walked over, and hugged him. He told everyone on set that they were not making entertainment. They were making memory. The movie became a tribute, not just a story. Fact number 4. The cameras were meant to shake. Spielberg didn't want clean, smooth shots. He wanted the camera to move like a human body under fire, shaking, jumping, and trying to survive. So he told the camera crew to handhold their equipment and run with the soldiers. Sometimes sand or blood hit the lens. Instead of cleaning it, Spielberg told them to keep going. That made the viewer feel like they were right there, in the middle of the fight. What looked messy became history's most realistic war cinematography. Fact number 5. Tom Hanks didn't know one scene was being filmed. In one quiet scene, Captain Miller, played by Tom Hanks, sits alone, shaking, and remembering the horrors he's seen. Spielberg didn't tell Hanks when they'd start filming. He wanted a real, raw moment, not acting. Hanks thought the camera wasn't rolling yet, but it was. He let out a deep sigh and broke down. That take became the one you see in the final film. No script, no preparation, just real emotion. It's not always about acting. Sometimes it's about honesty. Fact number 6. The beach scene cost over $10 million. That opening D-Day landing scene took 4 weeks to film and cost more than $10 million. More than 1,000 extras were hired. They used 30 boats, real explosions, and countless props. The crew built bunkers and machine gun nests based on real photographs from 1944. They used actual World War II guns and bullets modified for safety. It was chaos every day. Mud, fire, shouting, rain. But Spielberg didn't care about the cost. He said if it didn't feel real, it wasn't worth filming. Every explosion you see was real, and every scream came from real fear. Fact number 7. Many crew members got sick. During the D-Day shoot, actors and crew spent long hours in freezing water. Some got hypothermia. Others caught the flu. One cameraman fainted from exhaustion. Spielberg himself got chills and had to wrap himself in blankets between takes. But nobody wanted to stop. Everyone believed in the story they were telling. By the end of filming, the crew joked that they didn't just make a movie, they survived one. No comfort, no faking, just grit. Fact number 8. Spielberg refused to use music during battles. Unlike most war movies, Spielberg didn't want dramatic music during the fighting scenes. He said real battles don't have soundtracks, only noise, fear, and chaos. So during the combat scenes, all you hear are guns, explosions, and the screams of soldiers. The silence after each battle hits harder than any song. Composer John Williams, who worked on almost all of Spielberg's films, agreed. His music only appears between battles, soft, sad, almost like a prayer. The lack of music made the movie feel painfully real. Silence became the loudest sound. Fact number 9. Matt Damon was chosen for a secret reason. When Spielberg chose Matt Damon to play Private Ryan, Damon wasn't famous yet. Spielberg wanted someone who looked like an ordinary young soldier, not a Hollywood star. But by the time the movie came out, Damon had already won an Oscar for Good Will Hunting. Suddenly, this unknown face was one of the biggest names in film. Spielberg laughed about it later, saying, "I wanted an unknown soldier. I got a famous one." Luck sometimes rewrites a director's plan. Fact number 10. Veterans couldn't finish watching it. When the movie was first shown to veterans, many had to walk out of the theater. The D-Day scene was too real. The explosions, the screams, and the shaking cameras brought back real memories of battle. Some soldiers said it felt like being transported back to 1944. They couldn't handle the flashbacks. Spielberg said those reactions meant he had done his job, not by entertaining, but by honoring. For those who lived through war, this wasn't just a film, it was remembrance. Fact number 11. An explosion nearly hurt an actor. In one battle scene, a timed explosion went off too early. The blast of dirt and smoke came dangerously close to the actors. Everyone ducked. Spielberg immediately shouted for a cut. Thankfully, nobody was badly hurt. But that moment reminded everyone that even pretend war can be dangerous. In the final edit, Spielberg used real fear from those moments to make scenes more powerful. Sometimes danger doesn't wait for action. Fact number 12. Captain Miller's shaking hands were realistic. In the movie, Captain Miller's hands often tremble. That wasn't just acting. It was based on stories of real soldiers who suffered from combat stress. Tom Hanks studied real veterans to understand what trauma does to the body. He wanted to show that even heroes feel fear, and that fear doesn't make you weak. Spielberg loved it. He said, "That shaking hand tells the whole story. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward anyway." Fact number 13. Real guns were fired for sound recording. To capture the exact sounds of World War II weapons, the sound team recorded real guns being fired outdoors. They used authentic rifles, pistols, and machine guns from the era. They recorded the echo of bullets over fields, valleys, and beaches. Later, they mixed those sounds with the movie's explosions. That's why every shot feels heavy, not like in a video game. When you hear those bullets fly, you're hearing real history. Fact number 14. Real weather helped create mood. Spielberg didn't want fake weather. He waited for gray skies, cold winds, and rain. When the sun came out, he stopped filming. He believed war should look dull and cold, not bright or colorful. The cloudy skies and muddy ground gave every scene a sad, tired feeling. The crew hated those long delays, but the results were stunning. The mood of the movie comes from the sky itself. Nature became part of the cast. Fact number 15. The movie changed how people saw war before Saving a Private Ryan. War movies often looked heroic. Soldiers were brave, clean, and strong. Spielberg broke that idea completely. He showed war as it really is: dirty, loud, and confusing. He showed soldiers crying, freezing, and dying for something they barely understood. After this movie, many directors stopped showing war as glorious. They showed it as human. Saving Private Ryan didn't glorify war. It humanized it. Fact number 16. Even the props told a story. Every tiny object in the movie was made or found to match real 1940s items. The prop team searched for months for authentic letters, buttons, and helmets. They even printed fake family photos using cameras from that time. Spielberg said, "If one thing looks fake, the whole world falls apart." That attention to detail made the movie feel completely believable. Sometimes the truth hides in the smallest things. Fact number 17. Spielberg cried during filming. After finishing the D-Day sequence, Spielberg sat quietly and cried. He said it was the hardest thing he had ever filmed. He wasn't crying because of exhaustion. He cried because it felt too real. He thought about all the soldiers who actually went through that in 1944. He told the cast, "We are not just making a film. We're paying respect." Behind the camera, even the director was moved to tears. Fact number 18. The movie changed the U.S. Army. After Saving Private Ryan came out, the U.S. military started using parts of the film to train new officers. They studied Captain Miller's leadership, how he made hard choices, and kept his team together under pressure. Military schools said it was one of the best lessons ever filmed about courage and teamwork. Spielberg said, "If this movie teaches something, then it means something." Art became education. Fact number 19. The ending was filmed before most of the movie. The quiet cemetery scene, where old James Ryan visits Captain Miller's grave, was shot first. Spielberg wanted actor Harrison Young, who played the older Ryan, to set the tone for the whole story. He wanted the movie to begin with reflection and end with understanding. Shooting the ending first helped the younger actors remember what their characters were fighting for. That's why the emotion feels so deep and real throughout the film. The story began with its own ending. Fact number 20. The movie almost had a different title. When the studio first read the script, they suggested calling it The Mission. They thought it sounded more heroic and exciting. But Spielberg refused. He said, "This story isn't about a mission. It's about saving one person. That one life makes all the difference." He fought for the name Saving Private Ryan, and history proved him right. Sometimes one simple name can carry an entire message. Bonus fact: the camera lenses were from World War II. To make the movie look old and gritty, Spielberg used special camera lenses made in the 1940s, the same kind used by war photographers. These lenses created soft edges and a slightly faded look, like old army photos. The movie didn't just look like history. It was filmed through the eyes of history. Even modern technology couldn't replace that feeling. The past lived again through old glass, old tools, new meaning. Saving Private Ryan isn't just a war movie. It's a story about courage, sacrifice, and memory. Spielberg turned history into something you can feel. The dirt, the fear, the heartbreak, all of it reminds us what war really costs. It's not just about battles, it's about people. Brave and broken, ordinary and unforgettable. If you enjoyed these behind-the-scenes stories, subscribe for more. Every movie hides a truth, and we'll keep uncovering them, one story at a time.